Hello and welcome to the You Run podcast, True Crime. If you've read the episode of this title, you're probably wondering what's going on. My name's Scott. I'm the host today. No Heather this week, unfortunately. Heather is having renovations in her house done for a start. Also, she's not very well and she's got a lot going on with like the kids need to go to clubs and like trying to find a time to record this episode was really difficult, partly because it's really emotional for me and for Heather. Um, True crime started a couple of years ago, and it started with requests from people who listen to our horror movie show saying that they would like to hear me talk about true crime. And I knew I couldn't do that alone because I don't like true crime, and we talk about it a lot on this episode. I think some people think it's a gimmick, but it's truly not. I don't like true crime. I've got personal reasons. My dad was murdered when I was young, when I was a teenager, and I've got no real desire to look into true crime. And this is part of the reason people wanted me to do it, because I can look at things in a very different way to someone who, say, is a fan who enjoys true crime. I look at it in a very analytical way. And I knew I could never do that alone. So for the very first episode, I brought on Heather as a guest. Then we had Dan on for the second episode, which was the Zodiac Killer. And after that, me and Heather sat down and I asked Heather if she would join me to be my co-host full time. And thankfully she said yes. And since then, it has been a wild ride that both me and Heather are incredibly grateful for and humbled at how much pace this show gathered in the 2 years that it ran. We went from putting out episodes talking about all kinds of cases that you selected, and some of them were hard and some of them were really emotional. Like we done John Wayne Gacy, and that was a hard case. We done um, uh, my mind's gone blank. We've done so many. We've done John Wayne Gacy. We've done Jeffrey Dahmer. We've done Ted Bundy. We've done the Manson murders. We've done so many cases that meant a lot to all of you, that were big, important cases. And we also looked at some of the smaller cases, and we looked at some of the more obscure cases like Tupac, and we done Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And then, of course, we had those wild 4-part episode with Joe Exotic, who joined us for 3 of those episodes. And honestly, it has been an incredible ride. But we need to take a break for lots of different reasons. Like I said, I don't like true crime. I find it incredibly emotionally and mentally draining. It is a real burden to my mental health when I investigate some of these cases. When we do stuff like the Tiger King, that's cool because that's like, it's not that bad and it's kind of entertaining. And the same with Tupac, like Tupac lost his life and that was tragic, but there's lots of interesting stuff that's not horrific around that. But when you do something like Jeffrey Dahmer, there's no good in that case. There's no happiness. There's no light at the end of that tunnel. It's just darkness all the way through. And I find that really hard. The Toolbox Killers is kind of the catalyst that done this. So the Toolbox Killers was hard for me. The things they done and the things that they were proud of that they done to young girls absolutely broke my soul. And I said to Heather after we recorded that episode that I needed a break. And me and Heather agreed that we were going to do a recap episode. So we went back over old cases and we gave you updates of what was going on. And that was to give me time to adjust and get my head straight to go into another case, which you all voted for was going to be the sex cult, the NVXIM sex cult. And I started the research into that case and I stopped and I couldn't keep going. And me and Heather had a long conversation, a very long conversation about putting the show potentially on hiatus. Heather needs a bit of a break as well. So it's the summer and Heather's got young children like I have. And with young children come real world demands that take up real time. And when you do something like true crime the investigation and the diving into that takes so much of your time. To give you some context, to do an episode like the Toolbox Killers, that's like, I don't know, 5 hours a day for the best part of a week for me, probably half that for Heather because she's already got the knowledge there. But when you've got young kids and like Heather's got a toddler, like that is a big ask. And especially in the summer when the nights are lighter and they want to stay up, it's demanding, and it's finding the time to balance this and our personal lives. Also, Heather's house is still in massive disarray. We've spoken about it on the air where she had a flood and she had doors done and new kitchens and all kinds of things like that. She's now having a roof redone because her roof's leaked as well. So poor old Heather's had a real rough run as well. We are going to be taking a hiatus. How long that will be, I genuinely do not know. It could be 4 weeks, it could be 3 months, it could be longer. I genuinely don't know how much time we need to get ourselves both back to a position where I can mentally withstand doing this again for a prolonged period of time, and to where our kids and our family life can be balanced with this show. But I do horror movie review with Mark, and that is a lot less demanding. I watch a movie, I turn up and we talk about it. True crime's not like that. I can't watch a documentary and just regurgitate what I've heard, because documentaries are one-sided and they don't give you all the information, and that's not the show I want to give you. Me and Heather discussed we could easily have carried on this show just giving you regurgitated, churned out, cheap ass true crime, but that's not what we do. And I wish Heather was here now to be able to put some of her pizzazz and her spin on this. Anyone who's wondering, Heather's not here because, one, Heather's not very well. She's got a cold and she's got a sickness bug. She's also got the top of her house like off in her garden while they repair it. She's got a lot going on, and she simply doesn't have the time to come on and do this episode, which again is one of the reasons we need a hiatus. Like, having the time to commit to this is a big thing. And even though this is a 10-minute episode, maybe 15, if me and Heather were here together, this would instantly become 2 hours of our lives, because you only hear what we put out. Like, you hear the hour 20-minute episode. You don't hear the 40 minutes that we chat and we have a catch up before, and you don't hear the 40 minutes, hour chat that we have afterwards. Like, when me and Heather record, it's between 3, sometimes longer hours every single time, because we're friends. And when we get chatting and we're face to face, it becomes a longer conversation. And I speak to Heather every day, like through text and through Instagram and things like that. But when we're face to face, it becomes a proper, we're close friends. It's a proper chat. And again, when you have family and other demands, that's a lot of time out of your evening to give to something. I want to say a huge thank you to Heather for coming on and making this show what it is. Heather is a force of nature. She has her own spin on absolutely everything, and she delivers it in a way that no one else ever could. I'm incredibly grateful that she's co-hosted True Crime for this long, and that she will come back. Like, we're not going forever. Heather will return, and we will bring you more true crime episodes. But I'm incredibly grateful for her coming on board, because if she hadn't, this show would have been 5 episodes max, like tops. Heather has kept me going through every other week. When I say fuck this, I can't do it anymore, it's Heather the other end of a text or a call going, you need to sort yourself out, like, go and take a break, go and do this. She gets me through these episodes. I'm incredibly grateful for Heather as a co-host and as a friend. And get well soon, Heather. Like, I hate the fact that you're not very well, and I hate the fact that you couldn't be here for this episode because you're throwing up and you've got a sickness bug, and like, it's shit. I also want to thank everyone else who has listened to this show, who has made this show what it is, from picking the cases to interacting with us to calling in to just like commenting and contacting me through social media, and Heather as well, going, oh, that was a great episode, and sharing our episodes and talking about it and sharing us with other people. I am incredibly grateful for everything that you've done. And I feel that I'm cheating you by needing to take a break. I feel that I'm letting you down, and I'm really, really sorry for that. I really, really am. And I promise you we will return. This is not the end forever, but it is the end for now. I've been advertising this episode on Instagram, and I've been saying it's not goodbye, it's goodbye for now. And that's kind of where I am. We will return, and you need to go and follow us on social media at You Run Podcast, or at Wednesday Wine and Horror, or both. Do both. And you'll get updates there of where we're going to come back. As soon as we know when this is going to return, we will tell you. Also, You Run Podcast, Horror Movie Review Podcast. If you listen to that, you will know there first. That's where the announcement will come for the return of True Crime. When we do come back, we are going to be going back onto YouTube as well. And we're going to do episodes here, and then we're going to do episodes on YouTube that will be remastered with lots more clips and stuff like that as well. So we do have plans to take the show forward and make it better. But like I say, we need a break. I'm burnt out. Heather's at the end of her tether with builders. Like, we need some time off. So yeah, as Heather's not here, she normally does the sign-off bit. So I'm going to do my best to do this justice. So I need to give you a PSA. PSA, when things get on top of you and you need to take a break, take a break. That's my PSA to you. Don't power through, and don't make things harder on yourself if you don't have to. If you've got the option to take some time off and reset yourself, do that. That's my advice to you. But until next time, whenever that will be good, stay safe, and always stay spooky. And one more thing before we go, we have created a new intro and a new outro for the show that I'm going to play you the outro now to give you an idea that we're not going. We are working to improve the show for when we return. And this is a good indicator of how much effort we're going to be putting in moving forward. Again, thank you so much for listening, and I love you all. Bye-bye.
Heather's raging, old news she screams. The newer cases are all that she dreams. We dive into cases both weird and grim, from Zodiac ciphers to Tiger King's whim. Where You Run Podcast, the oddball pair. We're pretty damn good, to be fair. You Run Podcast, do true crime. Heather's ranting, Scott's in denial. From Manson's madness to Tupac's case, we're serving up crime with a comical grace. We're digging up dirt with a wink and a nod. You Run Podcast, approved by God. Probably not. Scott's like, can we talk about movies? Heather's yelling, no, it's time to do this. We're trapped in a world of murder and gore, but hey, at least we've got podcast galore. Tupac's killers are chilling affair, but we're adding our humor to ease up. You Run Podcast, do true crime. Heather's ranting, Scott's in denial. From Manson's madness to Tupac's case, we're serving up crime with a comical grace. We're digging up dirt with a wink and a nod. You Run Podcast, approved by God. Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Scott's like, can we talk about movies? Heather's yelling, no, it's time to do this. We're trapped in a world of murder and gore, but hey, at least we've got podcast galore. Tupac's killers are chilling affair, but we're adding our humor to ease up. You